forevermore. Alright, let's see how much that actually goes through. Let's go on, everyone. I'm on Orion today. Mock Duck. Let me get things going. And there we are. Now on YouTube. Now on Twitch. Hello, welcome to Friday afternoon here on twitch.tv/DDOstream at youtube.com/DungeonsandDragons/live. I am DDO's community manager, Cordovan, and I am here today just hanging out with you on a Friday afternoon. Sunny, beautiful Friday afternoon, at least in the Massachusetts area here. Hope things are going good for you. Be happy to answer any follow-up questions from our Update 33 live stream preview from yesterday. Just a heads up, if you haven't seen that yet, the archives are available here on Twitch and on YouTube. You can even find a link to it in the launcher. So if you missed that and feel it's worth your time, we went over some of the night revels, showed off most of the new cosmetics, did lots of Q&A, even talked a bit about Reaper mode and Ravenloft and what have you. So if you guys get a chance, and gals, please consider checking it out. Please to look at, should you wish. Got the Killer Weekend, +5 Treasure Hunters boost, +5% Heroic XP, +5% VIP XP. And I get to take advantage of this guy right now because I am only level 18. I'm in the Inspired Quarter, and we're going to continue doing what we do. Why don't we... Is everyone cool with talking to Jeets here? I don't actually, surprisingly... Oh, actually, that's Mindsunder. Is everyone else cool with Mindsunder, or do we need to run some stuff? I don't think I've ever run Mindsunder on this character. So that should be fun. So we have an awesome bonus going on this weekend, as you saw with the live stream preview. We're pretty well good to go. We have a little bit of work yet to get hand wraps working right. There's still some bugs on the version that you saw in Lamania this week, particularly with hand wraps. So we actually did a build yesterday, and we're hoping to update Lamania today with that new build. It's nothing super new that you haven't seen on Lamania yet, but it is a more polished version and is a lot closer to what'll probably be our release candidate, assuming that we take Friday night's build, or perhaps Monday night's build, for a potential Wednesday release. So that's the target, is Wednesday. I can't promise it's going to go out on Wednesday because, again, builds have to work out. We have to make sure that there aren't any major bugs with Monk and or Hand Wrap. The Reaper stuff doesn't really matter at this point. We do have some more Reaper mode fixes coming in, to today's Lamania. But since it's not going live with Update 33, we have plenty of time to fix things up before we go live with it. Love the new Night Revels armor. I know, it's awesome. It's so cool. I know, I saw that and I was like, oh my god, I guess I know what I'm doing. So, yes, that is what I will be doing. I will reiterate, I said this on the live stream, but I mean it like you would not believe. Even if you're like, Night Revels sucks and I don't totally want to play a single bit of it, at least take one of your characters and run through all that stuff once, because you will get mass XP the first time you run through it, and then it goes down like a challenge does. But that first time, particularly since we got a Von 4 in there, it's kind of sick. So I think you'll dig it. This is what I would do. Were I you and wanted to level up quickly, I would chug XP potion from the DDO store or Daily Dice or what have you, however you got it, and I would just spend an hour and just tear through all the Night Revels quests at least once, because, yeah, so much XP. But I think you're going to want to look at the cosmetics and all that too, provided that is of any interest to you. It's some pretty good stuff, so. And all the old stuff is back too. So if you didn't get the cookies and such from last year, you can do that this year. I don't know about you guys. So we had a lot of feedback when those cookies came out because they expired at the end of the year. That, oh, I guess I'm not going to go for the cookies. Well, I did because I had a bunch of leftover ingredients towards the end of Night Revels. And man, I used those things for months. I was really sad to see them go away. So I know for a fact I'm going to get those cookies again. I get you like an MRR bonus, PRR bonus, and some other pretty killer stuff. So we'll see. Maybe your opinion's different. It's perfectly valid. But they're pretty easy to make, and I would suggest it. Oh no. And I would suggest it. Maybe not every one of them, but at the very least, there's there's a couple of really killer ones in there. The PRR, MRR one in particular I know is good. I think there's one that, gotta look now, is it a dodge bonus? I can't remember now. I have to look up my charts to see what it actually does, guys. So here's a trick if you want the cosmetic armor. I'm pretty sure you can Mirror of Glamour it. So if that's I'll actually, you know, I'll better double check that to make sure that that's accurate. I don't actually know that it is. But if it is accurate, I'm going to... Maybe I'll pop onto Lamania and actually check that out here in a sec, But if it is accurate, that may be a way to go. That way you don't have to grind through a bunch of armors. You can just grind through it once and then glamour it if you want to do that. I don't know if that works though or not. Maybe I'm wrong. No! Draculetta says, Ravenloft, I love hearing that word. Yeah, it's gonna be pretty sweet. Since Update 33 came out so quickly after 32, will 34 come fast, or will it be the anniversary? We kind of had to decide whether to name what we're doing next week, Update 32 Patch 1 or Update 33. We settled on Update 33 because it kind of had very little to do with Update 32, so it seemed a little weird to call it a patched Update 32 when it was essentially all new content. It really had very little to do with Update 32. So we went with Update 33, because there's also a bunch of stuff. And we're going to take the same tactic for our, I guess what internally we're calling our December update, which will probably be Update 34. So to answer your question, a pretty good chance that our December update will be Update 34, but we may end up, due to various reasons, calling it something else. Kind of depends as to what all gets in there and what all's ready for it in time. And so that would probably put Update 35 as our 11th anniversary patch. not sure, I can't explain your question, Titan. He asked a question, in this quest, why is his level 30 only taking 1 to 5 points of damage? Well, probably because you're level 30? After PRR and such takes into account, I'm gonna guess that you're not taking a lot of damage at level 30 in a level 20 quest. Me, on the other hand, yeah. I should actually check. Do I not have... Okay, no, I've got 4 though. I'm just a gamble. Growler says, but is not the December update supposed to have a new adventure quest in a setting not seen before in DDO? Indeed it will. Yeah. That is indeed the plan. A setting that has not really been seen in DDO. Knockback, who's making the dungeon, would argue that it has never been seen in DDO, although, depending on how you wish to interpret things, you may feel differently. But I would tend to agree with him that at least what we have planned for December has never been seen in DDO before. I kind of want to be deliberately vague about it. But it'll make a lot of sense when you see the quest. And he's kind of going on... He was one of the main designers of Study in Sable. And he's kind of trying to take a similar tactic to the December quest here as well, because he has a little bit of time to really focus on it and try to make it something special and interesting and unique. Beardeye? Hey, I want to thank whoever put that into our public live stream preview chat. Because, you know, I brought up the idea of Beardeyes to the team, and they were like, oh, that's a great idea, Jerry. But when you guys were press Sev on it yesterday, he was like, oh, it's pretty awesome. So who knows? Who knows? I think it's a great idea. I think Beardeyes, just for the name alone, needs to exist. Well, that's sort of how I work. Keep trying. Yeah. I mean, there could be, there are some folks who would, I wouldn't say be offended, but who would maybe be a little less cool with having, pink bears and purple bears and stuff hanging around the game. There are some folks who prefer a more serious milieu. But I ain't one of them. And I think the idea of pink hair dye is great. Speaking of hair dyes, by the way, I don't know if you noticed yesterday's free coupon. It is the Kundaric Orange Hair Dye. So perhaps if you wish to celebrate the holiday with orange hair, you can now do that for free on one of your characters this next week. Fall Hairdo is the coupon code. FALLHAIRDO. Maybe I should actually put it on this guy here when I get a second. Because that would be fun. Hello, folks over on YouTube as well. Appreciate you being here. Wild West says, I'm trying to have the biggest hair dye collection in the game. I'd say that's possible. I take a different tactic. When I actually seem to get a moderate level of hair dyes in chests. And so whenever I get hair dye in a chest, I immediately put it on my character. I don't care what color it is or what style it is or whatever. I have this kind of internal command that I always put on the hair dyes whenever I get them in a chest. Like some people do with potions of wonder. Can we get hairier chests if we have these slave rags? I don't think so, sorry. It's because it's kind of a set look. I mean, the chest is actually part of the armor look, rather than, say, not being there and the chest being part of your character. So you'd have to create a separate version of the armor with a hairier chest. Yeah, me too, and now I'm thinking about it, it's almost always dyes rather than, hairstyles. But I have gotten a hairstyle before. By the way, for those who are getting a little sick of their... Oh, okay, I'm cursed. That's what's going on. I don't think I got any curse spots. Let's see. Nope, no curse spots. On this thing? Can't tell. I have looted a hairstyle from a chest. It was a ponytail. I got one of the ponytails from the chest once. Now, I don't know if that was because it was in random loot, or perhaps because I got to the point of... getting something from the DDO store table. So I don't know how I got it, but I did. Because there's a rare chance on random loot, and it is a very rare chance, but you can pull anything, pretty much anything, from the DDO store that's available. I think there are a few things like, say, Otto's boxes that aren't on that list. But for the most part, it's all there. I'm pretty sure I don't have the stuff to open up this chest. I don't know if anyone else does. Or for the extra chest, I mean. Yeah, I don't have it. Yeah, no biggie. Could probably sort of head over into the Dreaming Dark stuff if we want. Do the quests over on this side first, then head to the island. Need more ruby eyes to drop in the chests? Yeah, well, that would be sweet. What do I think is the rarest named drop item in DDO that you can get from a chest? Yeah, right. I'd say there are two sides to that question. One would be the rarest, like, actual item in the loot tables. And that might be something along the lines of... one of the super rare seals, perhaps. Ring of Spell Storing. But otherwise, it would be probably something from the DDO store table. So, you know, you'll, let's say, roll 100, then have that get 100, then have that roll get 100. You could theoretically get something uber super rare from doing that. But the odds are so astronomically small that I don't know if it's ever actually been rolled in the game, right? Bladed Jack Jibbers is among the lowest named items that I know of. So that might be it for the named items. Bloodstone might still be a super rare one. But yeah, otherwise it's going to be something from the sort of loot tables where you roll super high, you get bumped up. You roll super high, you get bumped up. You know, and so it'd be something like... plus 20 Heart of Wood, perhaps, or something like that. Yeah, effectively making it fictitious. Yeah, at some point you just get into, you know, percentage chances that are so small, it's essentially zero. But it is theoretically possible. The broken music box, that's it's not a bad option at all. I'd say that I too have never seen it drop, so... I think, though, the broken music box doesn't necessarily have a lower drop rate than the Blade of Jack Jibbers. It's just that the Jack Jibbers is more farmable than Precious Cargo is. So I think if you were to run the numbers of, let's say, run Precious Cargo 1,000 times, assuming no ransack, and did Legendary Two-Toed Tobias, Legend of Two-Toed Tobias, or the updated one, 1,000 times, you would see the same percentage drop rate. It's just, it's so much easier to farm for Jibbers than it is Precious Cargo. I've never seen it either. I would like it. Although I have to... Well, it's because it's got augments, right? So it's got 3 augments. It's basically a trinket with no properties except for 3 augment slots. and that's blue, yellow, and colorless. We do, though, now, with the new Caneth crafting system, have the ability to craft up trinkets, either using great shards of power or the craftable trinket in the DDO store. And if you do that, you can get yourself a suffix prefix extra. So that's pretty close, although it's not augment slots. But you can still do some pretty great things. I really like Precious Cargo too, Jeffrey. It's a great one. It was also fun because for a long time we had wanted to do combat on an airship. And we really hadn't done something exactly like what we do in Precious Cargo before. I mean, there are some kind of things a little bit like it, but nothing really directly going from airship to airship like Precious Cargo is. Someone said, could we ever sell a trinket with an augment slot in the DDO store? I think we could. Yeah, I mean, I don't see theoretically why we couldn't. Although I'd say it would probably be more likely we would put that trinket into, I don't know, named loot or something like that. I don't know that we've ever really sold any items that have augment slots directly in the DDO store. So, well, there's nothing theoretic. I mean, there's nothing stopping us. It's just a matter of, I don't know that there would be a big palette for it among the community. Purple Foos did most of the work on Precious Cargo. And he's the guy who also did most of Haunted Halls of Evening Star, and a whole bunch of other quests dating back, quite a few years. Actually, he might have even done this one. Yeah, he other than Knockback, he was one of the longest tenured content designers in DDO, and eventually became the lead designer for DDO. And now is no longer working for the company, but for many years was. Yeah, right, he did Mired and Kobolds as well. Yeah. Like I said, he did a ton of dungeons. I can't remember which one he did the missing. Actually, he might have done... I'm pretty sure he did In the Flesh as well. He did a lot of the capstone quests for a lot of the adventure packs. I don't actually know who he's with now. I just lost track of him over time. I know for a while he was working independently on something he was hoping to perhaps kickstart, and that was going to be a interstellar conflict game. It was a bit of he's a big RTS fan, and he was doing some kind of RTS involving almost like spaceships surrounding the Earth. I got to see a couple screenshots of it while he was working on it, and I was like, that looks pretty rad. I hope we didn't bug him out. I think we might have.
GMs that could help us out of this matter?
Now, nah, probably just need to restart it.
Okay.
Oh, there we go.
Oh, wait a minute. There he goes. Oh.
Yeah, I don't know. Unfortunately, I don't know what he's up to today. I'll have to look him up. No, I'm not dead. I'm in a dream world. It just looks like I'm dead. I can understand why you would assume so. I actually have a weekend where I'm don't have any major plans, although I might be going to a wedding. Doing some work around the house. But that means I've got time for DDO this weekend. This last couple of weeks, you know, has just kept me really busy and, frankly, working in the office, putting in some moderate hours. Working till 8, 9 o'clock several nights. Because we have both Update 33 and Update 19 over on the Lotro side going on. So it kind of had all of a sudden twice the update work. But I enjoyed it. I got it done. It was fine. Yeah. I'm also going to be on DDO Cast on Saturday. I understand we're going to talk about Update 33 with Patrick and whoever his guests are. They're also going to be focusing on boots. Named boots. They're going to have a little discussion about what the best named boots are in the game for what level and what have you. So I've been doing a little bit of DDO Wiki research, trying to look at all the named boots in the game and figure out which ones I like the best. Although I've got a few already in mind. Yeah, Madstone. That's a clear winner. Yeah. Is the only place where the Spectral Dragon appears in the Maybar raid? Is there an entry for her in the Monster Manual? There is not an entry, as I understand it, in the Monster Manual. There is one other place that a Spectral Dragon can appear, and that is in one of the Caneth challenges. I believe it's one of the door challenges. There's also a Spectral Dragon rare in there. But for the most part, it was made for Maybar, and then I believe included in that content. Yeah, the Defiler Adjust boots, that should go in there too. Oh, extraplanar mining, that's the one, sorry. Snow White Fox has a question. I wonder how tough it would be to make a custom store or something that one could enter to change the color of your armor, eyes, skin, hair while in bear form. It would be a challenge. Typically, that is a separate item. Like, say, the pink armor is item 1, and the blue armor is item 2, and the red version's item 3, and the purple's version 4. So you would kind of need to probably make a separate item for every possible combination you wanted to do. And so that might be a little difficult. I don't know, though, how bear dies, like, how the bear form works. I don't know if that's how that sort of is done behind the scenes. Depends. That may not be that difficult, but I just don't know. Well, these guys are just gonna keep spawning. What am I wasting my time for that guy? Come on, I should be attacking the Watcher of Dreams. We call him Freddy. Do you realize how futile your resistance is? I don't know, I got an item on. Alright, you guys ready to do this? Alright, everyone got their voices on? Will the next update fix how all the Caneth challenge items appear broken in the barter box? Why does that happen? Probably not, and it happens because the item isn't given a duration in the barter UI because it hasn't technically been created yet. So the process of creating an item assigns a durability to it, and therefore when you get it, it has a certain amount of durability, but since that doesn't show up that way in the barter UI due to, I'm not sure why, that's why it does it. It's the same reason why when you get a mythic item, it tends to have some damage on it. It's because the extra durability applied to the mythic bonus isn't applied until you actually pick up the item. So, at least that's how I understand it. Woohoo, I didn't die. Well, the Caneth challenge items were not broken before update 32. Yeah, there's some... Like, it doesn't always show up, right? So there must be some combination of factors or the way it was implemented that makes it so that that one in particular is broken. I don't know why. I think probably No Worries would be the person who would have a better answer than I would on that. But I think that that's what's happening, is the durability is assigned at 0 when the item populates, and so it's broken. But it's not really that big a deal. Just, who cares? I mean, no, it matters, but does it? Danley has a question, why can I not see bound shards higher than level 340 as levels 329? The interface won't show anything above level 340. I don't know. I don't have an answer for you on that one. Maybe someone in chat does. What are they attacking? Yeah, the Kundaric delving boots are a good one. I don't know. It used to be that I think boots were not a super great named item slot. I mean, there were some decent ones, but nothing like super uber. But in recent years, we've had devs who have really tried to focus on a lot of those kind of things, and there's a ton of good boots now. I often use my boot slot for stats and striding or speed. Like, I think on probably most of my characters, a lot of my boots are like where I've got the plus 13, plus 15 stat of speed. X 10. But I do have the Madstone boots on, at least several of my characters. I know the old Beefheart used to wear them all the time back in the day. Caneth propulsion boots, yeah, that's very much a good one. Caneth propulsion boots, because they give you sort of an abundant step-like effect that, unless you're already a favorite solar monk, you don't really have another option for, at least not many options. So those Caneth propulsion boots are still pretty high. Yeah, Featherfall and Speed, I actually do have Featherfall on a lot of boots as well, because it's just pretty easy to hot swap boots over rings, I find. When am I coming to Caneth? It'll be a while, because I've got Orion Part 2, Week 2 next week. And that'll almost certainly be Night Rebels, assuming we go live on Wednesday. And so then after Orion, I've got Sarlona, then Thalanis, then Wayfinder, then Argo. So it's going to be probably around 2, 4, 6... at least like 9 or so weeks from now. So I'll probably put Caneth somewhere into the early new year. Oh, quick note though, and I suppose I could mention this at the end of the show as well, but I'm not going to be here next week. Next Friday I am going to be on a jet plane, and I'm going to be traveling. I do know when I'm going to be back again. It'll be Monday. I'm going to be traveling to visit my son down in Georgia. I was actually going to go this weekend, but the hurricane foiled my plans. Thankfully, the airline was real accommodating in terms of changing my flight from this weekend to next weekend. That's a good job, Delta. Nicely done. I didn't even charge him for it. So that's where I'm going to be next weekend. So I'll be not around on Friday. If you're hearing some weird farty, drilly sounds in the background, this is something that started happening this week that's been fun at work, where all of a sudden they started some kind of big roofing project. So, I guess for the next month or so, we're going to have people drilling through the roof and doing all sorts of things. So, but yes, it was very juvenile for a while in here. But now it's just annoying. Managed to get through yesterday's previews though, and got lucky and didn't have to put up with it. But looks like they're back from lunch. Yeah, I thought it was whales. Yeah, there you go. Very Star Trek 4. Yeah. Guess we know what to do if the aliens come. It also has been a little obnoxious because it's brought, like, ceiling dust onto our desks and stuff. Not a good place to have an open cup of coffee around right now. But yeah, they're drilling actual holes in the ceiling. I don't know why fixing a roof involves putting holes in it, but for some reason it does. So because you can see like all of a sudden these things of sunlight coming down in the office. It's like, oh, it's a hole in the roof now. But some kind of long-term re-roofing project is going on. I love this section of the quest. So tricksy. Yeah, Hurricane Matthew Titan. As far as I know, no major damage or anything, but it made it really difficult for my son and his mother to get back to Savannah from where they evacuated. So, whatever. You guys don't care about my personal life. You don't need to hear about that. But yeah. There was a thing that happened, and they were just like, we're not going to be anywhere near Georgia next weekend all of a sudden, so, I don't know. You could fly down, but, so, I had to call the airline and be like, listen, what can you do? And they were, like I say, they were great. They were just like, sorry this is happening. Let us take care of it. We'll take care of all the charges. How would you like to fly out next week, same time, instead? And I was like, yeah, great. So. I know airlines get a bad rap sometimes for legit, but in this particular case, they were great. So. I have no idea if the plane will have Wi-Fi. I won't be using it anyway. I'm not a Wi-Fi user on a plane. What do you think, I made of money? No. I've got, I have my Vita, I have my Nintendo 3DS, I have an ebook reader, and between those three I can handle any length of time that I will need to be in an airport. Currently playing some Japanese visual novels on the 3DS, Chronicles of Ys, which is like an RPG, on the Vita, and reading a bunch of Dresden novels, so that's cool. Alright, I think that's probably going to wrap up the live stream then this week. Appreciate you joining me. Thanks everyone here for joining me as well. Just a reminder that we do have shows running all weekend long, and you can find our schedule on twitch.tv/DDOstream. You can subscribe to individual shows over on YouTube. That's youtube.com/DungeonsandDragons/live. And I will be back next Wednesday for most likely running Night Revels over on Orien right here. So thank you very much for joining me. Hope you have a great DDO weekend, and we'll see you again soon.